What's up guys, Jordan Hardy here, boxing reporter. You don't have to just be a professional fighter to use Victor Conte's Spider Training Stack. I use it every day when I'm working out in the gym. Stay fit. I'm Jordan Hardy and I'm SNAC Strong.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Marcos Villegas, being joined with Showtime Shawn Porter, who fights next weekend coming up on Fox, taking on Sebastian Formella in the PBC on Fox main event. Showtime Shawn Porter, hey, man, it's really good to see you. I see you rocking the Versace robe. You know, that's a nice robe. You just got to have an ice bath, I think. Hey, man, it's good to see you. How's this whole time been for you?
This is a Christmas gift from my dad, and yeah, I just got out of a cold tub, just finishing up my cryotherapy, and almost ready for the fight. And the camp has finished up very well. I think early on in camp there was just a lot of rocky moments for us. We started out training in my dad's backyard, and that was all we did for probably a month. And my dad's like, you got to start sparring. Who can we bring in? We don't know, who's healthy, that kind of thing. Ended up sparring with my dad for about 3 or 4 weeks to start camp. Yeah, which is fun and interesting and all that jazz. And then eventually we started to figure out who we could bring in.
Hold on. Hold that thought. When sparring your dad, how is that? I would imagine you don't want to hit your dad.
My dad's a knucklehead, man.
Your dad's intense, man. So I can see your dad being like, nah, hit me with everything you got.
No, actually the complete opposite. I would get into points where I'm going to do Shawn Porter. And he's like, hey, where 15 punches in a row come from? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I wouldn't tell you to throw 15 punches at anybody. Why are you throwing 15 punches at me? I'm like, well, I mean, I'm just working. Yeah, but you can't work with me like that. I'm like, all right, let's back up a little bit. So it was controlled. Definitely a lot of fun. I'm 32. I haven't sparred with my dad seriously since I was a teenager, since I was about 16, 17 years old. So it's been an interesting camp. It's been a long camp, and we're coming up to the end.
You mentioned training in your backyard. I've been working out in my backyard, and I can't do it anymore. I've gotten so bored with just the same scenery and all that. Did that happen to you?
Yep, happened to me. I told my dad I didn't want to do it anymore. Not in paraphrasing, and we started to do some other things. We actually have like a mountainside, was just nothing but dirt and rock and all that kind of stuff. We went over there a couple of times and did some workouts as well, just to get a different type of scenery. I actually ended up doing workouts down the street at a park. We found a couple of high school tracks to get on as well. So we were able to make it happen, man. We always my dad just kind of, makes that dough up and figures it out along the way.
But certainly it was challenging then to make everything work.
I think so. I think it was challenging, not quite as challenging for me as I'm sure it is for a lot of guys out there. I mean, not too many guys have their coach who's walking distance to their house. I mean, I can jump on my bike and my bicycle and ride to my dad's house without even turning the pedals and get to my dad's house in 30 seconds. He's literally just right down the street from me. And so that's a blessing. And then, again, my dad. So he's that kind of no stop, no quit type of guy. And he was always going to try to figure it out. So we figured it out between, training at the gym and then doing some other things in his backyard as well.
We saw David Benavidez a few days ago lose his title on the scale. And he mentioned it's because he didn't have enough time there in the bubble with like a sauna or enough gym time. Is that a worry at all, Shawn?
I plan to make it to the bubble with no worries at all. By the time we leave to go to LA, we'll be ready to go, and weight won't be a problem for me.
Okay, yeah, because I would imagine that could be like a concern for a fighter who's maybe 5 pounds off finding the appropriate time or the space needed to cut those extra pounds?
A lot of adjustments need to be made through this COVID situation. So I know for myself personally, understanding that you're going into a bubble, you're going to be restricted from doing a lot of things. Well, I know that if I know that going into the game, then I have to be prepared to handle it correctly. So my plan is to just kind of get to LA and be able to ride it out with no problem.
What do you think about being in the bubble for the week and just kind of being on your own and not being able to really do anything? Is that kind of like a normal thing already for you?
It's a normal thing for me. I mean, aside from, getting together with my dad and the rest of the team and, going out a little bit and walking, keeping everything loose and things like that. I'm not worried about it, man. It's a part of the process. And I've understood for a long time that as long as you follow the process, things will work out all right.
So you train in the backyard, and then you finally switched up to a gym. You mentioned sparring. Getting sparring was difficult. How did that all end up shaking out with the sparring and then the rest of camp?
We got a great guy near the end, and then we had some great guys come in throughout. Not really going to name drop or anything like that, but I can tell you that for sure my sparring between sparring with my dad, it picked up, and then we rolled it out with this last guy here in this final week, and it worked out the way it was supposed to.
This is the first time fans are going to get to see you fight since your pay-per-view in September. It's been some time. Mm-hmm. Since that fight, you have an opponent that not a lot of people are aware of because he doesn't have a big name here in the United States, Sebastian Formella. Were you very familiar with him, or was it kind of a surprise to you as well when that name was given to you?
I didn't know what name was coming to me at all. I mean, I knew Errol Spence wasn't coming. I knew Danny Garcia wasn't coming. I knew Manny Pacquiao wasn't coming. Keith Thurman. I knew the big names weren't coming, and I wasn't sure who was going to come. Obviously, hey, they put in front of you who they're going to put in front of you, and then you just have to handle the business. So we got the name. Once we got the name, we got a face, some pictures, a couple of write-ups, and then after that, we were able to get some film. So I think we actually got about 6 or 7 fights of his, but I think I watched about three different fights. And I'm familiar with the kid, and he's rangy, he's tall, likes to box, likes to use the ring, and I think the fans are in for a treat.
What do you make of him as a fighter?
I just said it. He's a good boxer. He's rangy. He likes to use the ring.
But like like a pass that though. Like when you look at him, like, do you think okay, this guy's on my level, or do you think like, nah, you know what, I'm 2 levels above this guy. He's good, but he's not on my level.
You know what? For me, it's how do I beat this guy? How do I get the knockout? How do I look great? And I think we have the right recipe. I think we got the right game plan. And I know we got the right game plan. And so for me, it's just about making it spectacular, making it showtime.
I was surprised to see him training with Ugas. He was sparring with Ugas.
I was too.
Yeah.
We knew he had to get to the United States.
All right, look who it is. It's Diggy.
My son.
Hey.
Yeah. Didn't know he was coming to Vegas, and they chose to call on Ugas to get some sparring. So my dad said it to me, which makes sense. He says, "Well, you have a language barrier here because one guy's German, the other guy is Cuban, and we know for a fact that Ugas really doesn't speak much English, So for these guys to be able to communicate and go through any type of game planning and things like that, I'm sure it had to be a little restrictive and stressful. However, he got here on time, which I appreciate, and that lets me know he'll be ready to fight.
Have you heard anything about those sparring sessions? Were you able to get any intel? I know your dad's super connected.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get anything. We just heard that he had been in the ring with Ugas. We didn't hear about how the sparring went or anything like that.
So, you'd mentioned that you knew for some time that Danny, a fight with Danny was going to happen, a fight with Errol wasn't going to happen, a fight with all these guys. Obviously, Errol and Danny were scheduled to fight. I think that was in the plan a few months ago to make that happen. But did you ever hear anything like from Keith or Manny as to why no fights with them?
No, no. I think, I'm one of the few guys, maybe even David Benavidez, coming back, I think, a little sooner than most of these world champion fighters or world champion caliber fighters are willing to come back. And I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to get in there and do what I have to do. And I don't think, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, I don't think any of those guys really, if they had their way, if they had their choice, they wouldn't fight in an empty arena. So I think maybe that more than anything could be a reason why you're not going to see a lot of the big names get in the ring until they can get back into pay-per-view type of situation or fans in the stands type of situation.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that too. How does that affect, I guess, your business with having these big fights? Like, do you want to have like a pay-per-view like how Errol and Danny are without fans, or are you kind of hesitant like, hey, like this is a big fight and I'm missing out on a lot of money not having fans there, like maybe I'm going to wait a little bit?
I'm getting in the ring in a week, so I think that answers the question. I was willing to get in there and do what I have to do. And for me, really, it's just representing the sport. Right now, sports are coming back. And I think with sports coming back and boxing coming back, it's been back since June, relatively around the world. But I think with boxing coming back on Fox, especially, I think that boxing deserves a great fighter to get in the ring, and that's why I threw my hand up.
So just to be clear, because I know a lot of fans have given you slack on this opponent, and they're like, wait, who's this guy? Why is Shawn facing this guy? You wanted these fights, but they opted to not just be active, or they had other plans.
I'm going to tell you from where I'm sitting at, it's already known that Shawn Porter wanted the rematch with Errol Spence, wanted to fight with Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, Danny Garcia, the list goes on. And I think fans just need to understand that those fights aren't there for Shawn Porter. Those fights aren't there for Shawn Porter because of the way he performed against Errol Spence. So when it comes to Shawn Porter getting back into the ring, and again, like I said, wanting to represent my sport and show out and get the best and present the best that this sport can offer right now at this very time, it has to be Sebastian Formella.
Did you ever have that conversation with Terence? I know last time I saw you, you said that you were going to try to talk to him. Did that conversation ever take place?
We did, man. We spoke, and just to keep it brief, basically he says, hey, man, I got some other things going on, and now's not the time. And I was like, all right, I have to respect that, man. I'm not going to, say what we talked about, anything like that at all. I just wanted to get that clear understanding that this fight wasn't going to happen right now. He said, nah, I got some other things that are brewing, and hey, if those things fall out, then we can get it on. And I said, all right. I said, well, I got something going on too, so we'll see what happens. And right now, for me, it's Sebastian Formella.
I know it's a sport, but it would still be a weird thing for me to fight a friend, So if something like that was told to me, I'd be like, cool, okay, that's good. I don't want to hit you. You're my homie.
Yeah, I did that with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman and I, we known each other for a little while, and especially upon being pros, we would see each other at different fights and stuff like that. We would hang out, things like that. Same thing with myself and Terence Crawford. But I think the difference with me and Keith and Terence, when we turned pro, Keith was a 147 pounder, so I knew eventually we'd be there, and I just didn't see that with Terence. So I think, our friendship grew, and kind of the competitive side of things for me kind of took the back seat. But, they're in the front seat now, but it's not going to happen at the moment.
So if you win on Saturday, which I know you feel you're going to win 110%, Is the next fight absolutely a title shot, or how quickly do you feel that you will be fighting for a title?
Well, this fight's for 2 title eliminators, IBF and the WBC. I believe that's been announced. So that's the next step.
IBF or that's either the winner between Danny and Errol. There you go. Well, hopefully that gets made really, really soon. Shawn Porter, thank you so much. You fight coming up Saturday, PBC on Fox, Sebastian Formella. Go ahead and take us away, Shawn, if you have any last parting messages or words to people out there.
No, it's showtime, and it's coming up soon. Just a week away. You guys stay tuned, and we'll see you later. Thanks, Marcos.
No worries. That is Shawn Porter. Thank you so much, Shawn. It was good seeing you. I really appreciate it. Hey, it's Kenny. What's up, my man? How's it going? Making a cameo.
I'm in my son's house.
It's the magic of technology.
But you picked the other dude.
Well, I picked the other dude. What other dude? What are you talking?
Always picked the other. You just picked the other dude. No, you said Formella was gonna win.
No, I didn't. When did I say this? I don't even know who Formella is, to be honest.
It's a Jedi mind trick. Yeah.
Oh, it is? Don't be putting that out there. Yo, you. Yes, you. Thank you so much for watching this video. And make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV. And give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.